Hi, I'm Callum from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and this is the handover of the Adria Coral Plus 670 SLT. So as we start the walk round on the driver's side of the vehicle first, your Adria key, this flip key, does all your external lockers. So the first locker you get to is where you'd hook the vehicle up with the mains 240 volt. So you grab your hooker blade, open the collar and slide on. Always hook the vehicle up first, down the power source, and obviously do it in reverse when unhooking the vehicle, as we wouldn't want you to be walking around with a live lead in your hand. And if you just lift this little grommet out here, slide the lead in, it means you can shut the door with the lead in place. And at the back there you've got 2 USB points, 12 volt point and 2 TV points. So if you go to a super site, you can hook up to a super site aerial through there and use one as an external aerial point. And then to turn these locks to make them shut, so when you've got the red ring, it means it's open. Turn it and push it in until the red disappears and it goes flat with the black handle. Going further along the vehicle, you've got your awning light and your 2 fridge vents. Storage underneath the bed here, and then in this part is where your toilet cassette is. So you've got a little ledge there which stands up, and in there you've got your toilet cassette. So ensure that the blade on the bottom bowl of the toilet is closed first, and then you'll be able to lift the orange handle up, slide the cassette out of the toilet, slide it out the vehicle. You would then take this to your waste disposal point, put some wheels on there so you can drag it when you're on level ground instead of carrying it, and then you'd remove the grey cap so it goes to this. Press the button, tip it out. Once you've tipped it out, put some water in. There's normally a tap on a hose, give it a shake, give it a rinse, tip out again, and then if you're using the chemical form of liquid, you'd use the cap as a measuring stick, which is 120 ml into here, and then it's good to go back into the vehicle and be used. If you're using the tablet form, you put the cassette in empty, flush a pint of water down the cassette by opening the blade, and then follow it by putting a tablet down, which is in the cellophane of either the blue or the green. Please ask your site which chemical they prefer to use. Some sites prefer to be more environmentally friendly and use the green, which is better for the environment, or you can use the blue, but just ask your site and they'll advise you better. High level brake light, reverse camera, bike rack fixings. So if you ever fit one, this is where the back panel is being strengthened, and then on the bottom you've got your rear parking sensors. Storage underneath this bed here as well, and you've got handy lights in there, so you just press the top of the light for it to come on and off, which it will when the control panel is turned on from inside. Your waste outlet is here, so this is where the waste comes out, and to operate this you'd open it from inside. And here you've got LPG, so liquid petroleum gas. This is your gas locker. So in here you would fit 2 bottles. So after this we'll put a bottle on and show you the gas working inside. So you would connect the pigtail to the bottle. So it's a left hand thread and hand tighten, and you'll need to nip it up with a spanner, and then you can carry a spare. And always make sure that the bottle is securely strapped in place and turned off before you do start travelling, as we wouldn't want you driving around with gas on board that's open in case anything did happen. You've got your Truma vent here for your boiler, so your boiler's behind here. You've got a 12 volt source for if you're filling from an aqua roll or waste or fresh water, or should I say freshwater carrier. bucket, and then this side you'd put the other end in there, or you'd simply just buy a hose pipe and put a hose pipe in here to fill with water. It's probably the easiest option, but you do have that option in case you can't get a hose pipe to the vehicle and you've got to bring water to the van instead. But you put a hose pipe in there, wait until it overflows until you're happy you've got enough water on board, which you can't see on the main control panel. At the passenger door you've got your diesel filler, and underneath you've got your AdBlue. So your AdBlue is a 19 litre tank, and you can fill it up as soon as the light comes on, otherwise the vehicle could go into limp mode and fail to start. Tyre pressures are on the passenger door slam panel, so 5.5 bar, which is 79.5 psi. Leisure battery location will be underneath the seat, and then you do have your engine battery underneath here. Bonnet release on the side of the dashboard. If we have a quick look underneath the bonnet, you've got all your fluids. So you've got your screen wash, this cover lifts off and gives you access to your power steering fluid. Then the next one is your radiator coolant. You've got your brake fluid reservoir, your oil filler and dipstick for checking your levels. Paint code here, so it's 249 Earth if you ever need to jump start the vehicle. And then the positive is just behind the back of the passenger headlight, which is just here, the contact. And then you go off this weight plate now, so 3.5 ton gross vehicle weight. If you were to put a tow bar on the vehicle in the future, you can tow up to a train weight, which is the motorhome. Whatever you're towing can't exceed 5.5 ton. When you step into the vehicle, this is your main 12 volt control panel. So you turn on and off at the top right hand corner. Then you'll get this menu here. So it tells you that the hookup is on there, and then it tells you your external and internal temperature. It tells you that your leisure battery is 100%. You've got 100% of water on there, zero waste, and the pump is off. But then if you use these controls here on the side, what you can do is you can turn your lights and then on and off, but then you'd use the scroller here, so you can scroll between on the interior lights and on and off for the awning light. You get your internal and external temperature. You get your settings there, so you can change the time, date, when the clocks go back and forth, and the brightness of the screen. You can turn your pump on and off on here. You can view your leisure and vehicle battery, so vehicle and leisure, and you can view your fresh and your waste water. But when going into the lights, this is your on off by pressing the grey scroll button here. Then you just press and hold to turn off. To operate the Truma digital control panel, so you'd press and hold to turn on and off by just pressing this and holding down for a few seconds. You get the time, and then if you press into the menu, so in the far left hand corner you've got the motorhome with the thermometer in. This is the temperature of the heat you want inside the vehicle. So you've got all the way up to 30 degrees, and then you just press and hold to set that. If you didn't want the heating on, you just turn it off, and then next to it you have your hot water. So make sure you've got enough water in the boiler first and you have enough water on board, otherwise don't put the hot water on, as it's like boiling a kettle without water in. So you've got off, you've got eco, which is 40 degrees of heating your water. You've got hot, which is 60 degrees of heating your water, and you've got boost, which will turn off your heating first and prioritise the water. So for this we'll just say hot, and then moving along you've got which source you want to use. So you've got gas on its own if you weren't hooked up and you are wild camping. You've got a mixture of 1 kilowatt of electric and gas. A mixture of 2 kilowatts of electric and gas, so you'd use this if you are in desperate need of heating or hot water, i.e. in the winter months. You've got electric on 1 kilowatt. And you've got electric on 2 kilowatts. So normally you'd use an electric on 2 if you've paid your site fees, you'll not want to waste your gas. But you may need to use electric on 1 kilowatt if you're boiling an electric kettle at the same time or using too much electric. But check with your site on what current and amperage they give you through your hookup lead, and this will determine whether you use electric on 2 or electric on 1. Otherwise you can trip the vehicle out or the site. Then in the top right you've got the fans. You've got on eco or high. Eco, if you're going to sleep, put on eco, as the fans are a little bit more silent. If you put on high, you can hear the fans. This is just to boost the vehicle. Obviously if it's cold, you want to put them on high, give the vehicle a boost of using the 12 volt assisted fan. In the bottom left you've got a timer, so you can time it to come on and off. Just the once though. And then in the middle you've got the time displayed on the main control panel. And then should you get a warning triangle in the middle, which means either something's gone wrong, you can reset the panel by going to the spanner setting in the bottom right, going to reset, clicking, it'll say preset, click again, and then you'll have to go in and reset everything that I've just shown you. At the back of the vehicle you've got 2 single beds with storage underneath like I've shown you from outside. Wardrobe with hanging rails, quite large wardrobes on both sides. You've got a concertina blind here, so should you want to shut the back off from the front, just a little magnetic catch there. This connects to there. Underneath the floor you've got some storage. All your little lights are individually switched, and you can move these along the rail by just pressing down and opening the 2 clips up, and then they'll slide a lot better, come out, and you can push them back onto the rail and clip them where you need. And it's the same with the light. Lockers are push lockers, and then they're on gas struts, so you've got some large storage above. The beds, and then going to the back of the van you've got your washroom with again another wardrobe. In the kitchen area you've got 3 lit gas rings there. Allow these to cool before you put the glass top down. Put your chopping board, which acts as a sink cover, there as well. Push your overhead lockers to open, and they're on gas struts, so you've got storage above. Large storage drawers. Cupboard underneath your Thetford oven and grill. You've got your oven there, and above you've got your grill. At the back, to open the window, just release the 3 catches by pushing the buttons in on the arms, and then you've got to push it all the way out to bring it in. Make sure this is securely fastened before travelling, with all windows and skylights. Blackout blind, fly screen, pinch them in the middle, and the 2 will depart from each other. So to operate your Thetford slimline fridge with freezer compartment, you turn on and off here, and then using the square button, you can see which source you're running off. So at the moment this is on A, which stands for automatic energy selection, and you can see that the hookup plug is lit up there. So we're hooked up at the moment on the forecourt. We've got gas on board, but it's all automatically programmed to take 240 volt first and not waste your gas. If I was then to start the engine, it would switch over to the battery setting, which is a feed off your engine alternator, not your leisure battery, which is only designed to keep the temperature it was currently at before the engine was switched on. So what you've got to do is, if you're lucky enough to keep this at home, hook it up a couple of days before, put your shopping in the night before, allow it to chill overnight, and then when you are ready to set off, if it's on automatic, great, just start the engine and drive away. And then when you come back at your site and you hook up, it'll switch automatically over to hook up. If you're going wild camping, it will take 20 minutes to light on gas. This is just a safety feature, so it'll beep and fail, and it won't self-ignite for 20 minutes. As if you were to pull into a petrol station, fill up with fuel, you wouldn't have 240, you won't have 12 volt, but if you've left your gas open, you would have gas in the system. So it's automatically programmed to wait 20 minutes. So to manually light it, you just press and hold the square button, wait until they start flashing, and use the arrows. So there's hook up on its own, there's battery on its own, and there's gas, and it'll go at the temperature, and you can go up and down. So normally if you're pre-chilling, you'd have it on 5. When you get your shopping in, you'd probably want it on 3 or 4, and then there it's lit on gas. But when winterizing, remember, clean it all out, take everything out, give it a wipe down. Little blue toggle here, pull that in the middle, rest the door up against it. It'll allow air circulation in and out the fridge to stop any mold or bacteria forming in there, so when you come to reuse it, your fridge isn't rotten and you've got to give it a good clean out. Located between the double floor on an Adria is your water tank. So this is your fresh water, which is just beside your travelling seat. So to empty your fresh water, you use this grey lever here. So you turn it twice to the right, which will drain off all water in the fresh water tank. And if you ever wanted to gain access to it, you take the blue cap off and gain access if you wanted to clean the tank out. But remember, your warranties don't cover frost damage, so you've got to drain fresh water off, the wastewater off from the switch beside the passenger door, and your boiler, which I'll get onto in a moment. But say you've taken on contaminated water, you're simply not using the van for a couple of weeks, so you don't want stagnant water to stay in the van, or you're winterizing, you'd open the freshwater tanks via this grey lever. So located in the floor just behind the passenger seat, if you lift this up, underneath here is your boiler drain for your Truma combi. So when it's across the vehicle and the nib's down and the button on the side here is pushed in, it is holding 10 litres of hot water. In the winter, it is very important that you drain the water holding tank in the boiler of the water to protect the boiler and the water heater. So to do so, simply turn, the nib will pop up and the button will pop out. Come in and do this with no 12 volt on or no pump. 10 litres of water will drain out directly underneath the vehicle. Leave it open during the time you've got it stood up, especially in the winter. So you'd winterize in the winter to stop it from freezing when frost is present. And then also you'd open your fresh waste, all your taps throughout the vehicle. So all the mixer taps, shower, kitchen sink, hand basin, to stop any airlocks and any water that's in the pipes from freezing, as it is plastic pipes and tanks on a motorhome. And then what you will want to do when you come to reuse the vehicle is obviously shut the boiler first, shut the fresh through the floor, shut the waste, shut all the taps, put your shower head back on your shower hose and put that back on the stand. Go outside, fill with cold water via a hose pipe, come in, put the control panel on, put the pump on, go to the cold side of the tap first, you'll get automatic cold water. Turn it to the hot side. When you turn it to the hot side, what it does is it draws it from the main tank into the boiler. So the boiler doesn't fill up until the hot side of the tap is on. When the hot side of the tap is on, you'll get all the air spitting through the pipes, through the taps. It'll cough, spit for about 3 to 4 minutes until it gets a steady flow on the kitchen tap. Then do the shower and the hand basin tap, and then the system is primed. It's very important that you drain this off, otherwise if you didn't, it isn't covered under any warranty, and it is very expensive to repair from frost damage, and most of the times it is a new boiler that is needed. When you're using the 2 rear travelling seats, remove the cushion from here. Obviously you'll want this to fold, this will fold down for the passenger sitting to the left hand side near the window to get the feet down. And all you need to do is pull these clips back. So one there, and that'll fold down to give you footwell space for the 2 rear passengers. So to make your 5th belt, its seat, remove the cushions, pop your backrest in and allow this clip to clip into here. Get your head restraint, and that'll clip on to there, and then you'd use your base cushion back into position. Obviously you've got your seat belt there from underneath in the storage compartment. That pushes down, and then you'd use your backrest to go into here, and then you would travel backwards, but you have got 5 belted seats legally on this vehicle. So to make the front lounge into a bed using the table, there's a lever here which operates the table going up and down. So if you just release the lever, you can then push it down, but there's also another lever, which is this one here, which makes the table go left and right and move. Push it down into the space, and then you want to lock the table into place, which is turn it backwards to the passenger side of the vehicle. And push it as far in to the passenger side as you can, and then you use your makeup board, which I'll put in a second and show you where that goes, and then how you arrange the cushions. Then placing the infill cushion into here creates your bed at the front of the vehicle. To operate your toilet, make sure that your pump is on your main control panel beside the habitation door. And then if you flush it first, which lubricates the seal and ensures that everything goes into the cassette, open the blade, which is this grey lever here, so slide it to the right, use it with the blade open, flush after use by pressing and holding freshwater flush, and then you can slide this back to the left to shut the blade, and it will mean that you can get this out the side of the van should it be full, which it will indicate here. If you wanted to use any bowl cleaners, obviously Fetford do a pink bowl cleaner. If you put that into a spray bottle, you can spray it and then flush, as this is a freshwater fed flushing system. It's not like a caravan where you've got a separate reservoir. Above you've got your wardrobe, infill cushion for your front bed, which I'll show you further on in the video how that is done, and your winter covers for your fridge vents from outside. Your 2 light switches there. Some more storage and a complimentary bottle of chemical. Storage underneath your sink, which which your plug just pushes in there, and this just shows that your water pump is working. And there's your lights on. And then when you do winterize the vehicle, it's always recommended that you unscrew the shower head from the hose and allow the hose to lie in the shower tray, just because any water that could coil up here could just split this pipe, and then leave all your mixer taps throughout the vehicle open. So hand basin, sink, kitchen tap, open your boiler, your waste and your fresh. And then there's a little light just behind here, which is your light for your shower. And then ensure that your shower screens are tied back before you start travelling. And above you've got a small skylight, so you push the button in, pull the bar back, and then always make sure that the bar is above the button, and you've got a fly screen on there, and make sure all your skylights and windows are shut before you do start travelling. So now in the cab, to the right of the driver you have your handbrake, and then to black the windows out on the cab windows, passenger and driver, if you just slide this forward, there's a magnet on the end, slide it up, and then that just connects to the door itself. So that's driver and passenger. And then if you pinch, slide these along into the meat as the magnetic end, like so. And if it's going to be a windy night, I'd advise putting something round here. And then down here you've got your headlight adjustment, front and rear fogs, and if you want to disable stop start, got your wipers with a trip computer on the end, which tells you your range, your travelling times and so on. All your steering wheel controls, so hands free. This will scroll through your channels, your audio or your Bluetooth contacts. Mute volume, voice command, lights and indicators. You've got off, cruise control at the top. You get your desired speed and push up to set. You can cancel on the end or with a foot brake and resume on the end as well to the last speed set before the engine was turned off. And then below you've got your speed limiter. So pushing up slowly will go up in ones, pushing and holding will go up in fives. And then you've got the kick down function, so you can override the speed limiter should you need to. This one's fitted with a 9-speed automatic gearbox, so you go down for drive, along for manual mode, and you go up and down the gears. And then you've got drive mode here, so you can have 3 modes. You've got eco, power or normal. I would just leave it in normal, there's no gain to eco at all. You've got your traction control, so this turns your traction control off. Hill descent control, with it being an automatic, it just it's basically like an engine brake, holds the engine back slowly, keeps the revs, stops it rolling away on steep hills. Hazards, locks the door, so it locks the cab doors and the habitation. Then your garage and your lockers are locked manually. Heated mirrors, USB and 12 volt for charging purposes only. Glove box and heated and cooled glove box on the top. And then you do have your temperature on the outside ring, must be on at least fan speed 1 or more, which is this one here, for the aircon to work, which is this one. And then you do have your distribution, so where you want the air to go to, face, feet or screen, and whether you're recirculating air or you're bringing fresh air into the vehicle. Fade head unit, so you've got a USB there for your connect your phone, and this does take Apple CarPlay, so if you've got an Apple phone you can connect it through USB and you'll be able to have your screen of your iPhone on there. You've got radio, so FM, AM and DAB by skipping through here, and you can press 1 and you can save up to 12 channels on there on FM or DAB. Going back to home, you've got your phone, so you go to the phone, add a phone, and you want to find this device, Fate 9814 on your device, press pair, then it'll ask you if you want to allow your phone to sync your contacts, press allow, and then your phone book will sync into there. Should somebody ring you who's saved in there, it'll come up with a name instead of just a number or unknown. Got media, which is obviously through the USB or Bluetooth audio. You can turn the screen off should you want the radio on site but you don't want the glare on an evening, then touch it, it'll come back on. And it is fitted with a sat nav. So this is a motorhome sat nav, and once it loads you just go, so it tells you where we are. We're on Crookgate Bank on this A692 in Newcastle, Burnhamfield. You click down in the 3 bottom corners, new route, address, and then you'd put your postcode or your town in here, and then you would just press, so I'll just say London, go to town, set as destination, and then it'll set as destination. It'll tell you where to go when turning out of here. Obviously it tells you it's 446 kilometers and it's 6 hours drive from here. So it's telling you to turn right when you leave the premises. And if you click on Ducato here, you can put your length, height and width in of this vehicle, and then you can put your actual weight, and if you're going to be having a trailer on and off, you can turn that on and off there. You'll notice in the door pocket down here is a tyre inflation kit, as they don't come with a spare wheel, so it's a fix and go kit in there.